Good day again mga kapilo. This day we will have another philosophical coffee session at ngayong araw na ito we will discuss about chapter 3 of our module in ethics which focuses on the act. So ito ay part pa rin ng lecture series natin sa ating module in ethics. I just want you to know that this lecture series is primarily intended for my students at Isabela State University, Kawayan Campus. However, it can also be used by the students of my colleagues, Mr. Renimar Luyon, Mr. Lovi Palmera, Mr. Jason Kulkol, Professor Gabluna of ISU Kawayan, and of Mr. Res Janro Bautista of ISU Kabahagan. So, pag-start na tayo sa ating lecture. So, we discuss about the act. Okay? So, class, this module explores the role of feelings in moral decisions and the disadvantages of over-reliance on feelings. So, a lot of people may not be aware when their behavior diverts from ethical standards because their emotions and moods get the better part of them. So, minsan nakokontrol na tayo ng ating mga emotions, hindi na tayo masyado gawa o nakakapagsalita ng maayos-ayos kasi hinayaan natin na o-control tayo ng ating emotions. So this module also provides models in which students can make reasoned and impartial ethical decisions and understand why reason is not enough in carrying out their ethical decisions as well. So it proposes that the will is as important as reason, and developing moral courage helps towards moral excellence. So class, actually, yung topic na itong topics for chapter 3 ay tatlo, nahati sa tatlo. So una, ito yung feelings and moral decision making. Ito yung di-discuss natin ngayon. So yung pangalawang topic sa susunod na lecture video, itong reason and impartiality as minimum requirements for morality. And then the third topic is moral courage. So, hahati-hatiin natin yung mga topics na yan. So, umpisahan muna natin dito sa topic number 1. So, feelings and ethical decision making. So, before that, let us just read the learning outcomes for this topic. So, upon completion of this topic, the student must be able to 1. Explain the relationship between feelings and ethical judgments, and 2. Evaluate feelings as both obstacles and useful to making right decisions. Okay, so next slide. Itong feelings kasi and intuitions, or what we call as moral emotions, they play a major role in most of the ethical decisions people make. Pero tandaan natin to, decisions people make vary when they are happy from when they are sad or emotional. Meaning, magkaiba yung mga magiging actions mo o magiging mga salita mo kapag ikaw ay galit. Iba din kapag ikaw ay masaya. Iba din kapag ikaw ay nalulungkot. So, words that come out of our mouth sometimes are also affected by the emotions that we feel. And so with our actions. Kapag masaya ka, may mga nasasabi kang hindi mo dapat nasabi. Kapag malungkot ka o galit ka, may mga nasasabi ka o may nagagawa ka na hindi mo naman din inintend. Kaya lang, na-overcome ka ng iyong galit o ng iyong sadness. O in short, yung sadness and yung joy, yung happiness, they are emotions. So, meaning to say, yung ating mga ginagawa at yung mga ating mga nasasabi naaapektuhan ng ating emotions. Sa libro ni Bo Sanchez, yung kanya, itong Heart Detox. Okay? Pakita lang natin. So, ito siya. Actually, this was my book since 2015. Binasa ko na tong Heart Detox na to. Pero kung may time kayo, pwede nyo ring basahin. Napakagandang book nito. So, yung Heart Detox, sabi ni Bo Sanchez, he expressed that there is a difference between experiencing the emotion and expressing the emotion. So, magkaiba daw yung na-experience mo yung emotion sa ine-express mo yung emotion. So, he further stressed that there are no bad emotions. only bad expressions of emotions. Bakit niya kaya nasabi yon? Kasi nga, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, yung emotions mo, nandyan yan. Bilang tao, our emotions are already in us. We cannot take away these emotions or these emotions in us. Hindi mo pwedeng matanggal yung kalungkutan, yung kasayahan, kasi bawat tao nararamdaman yan. Hindi pwedeng hindi mo mararamdaman yan. Bilang normal na tao, mararamdaman mo yung magiging masaya, mararamdaman mo magiging malungkot, mararamdaman mo yung biglaan na lang nagagalit, and normal yan bilang tao. Now, the problem is that sometimes people experience these emotions and express these emotions. Sabi ni Bo Sanchez, dapat experience mo lang. And pag-isipan mo mabuti kung i-express mo yung emotions na to, sapagkat naaapektuhan kasi yung ating mga nagagawa o nasasabi when we express our emotions. That is why he come up to this notion that there are no bad emotions, there are only bad expressions of emotions. Now, to continue, ito sabi ni Jack Ma sa isang meme, pero ewan ko kung siya talaga ang nagsabi nito, nakita ko lang to sa internet. Never reply when you are angry. Never make a promise when you are happy. And never make a decision when you are sad. Ayan. Bakit? Kasi maaapektuhan yung reply mo, yung promise mo, at saka yung decision mo when you allow yourself to be overcome by your emotions. Now, there are two related models in ethics that we need to discuss. Number one, itong ethical subjectivism, and number two, itong emotivism. So what is the difference between the two? Let us first study what ethical subjectivism is. Sabi dito, it holds that truth or falsity of ethical propositions is dependent on the feelings, attitudes, or standards of a person or group of persons. So meaning to say, itong ethical subjectivism is based solely on feelings, sa nararamdaman, sa emotions. To give you an example, for example, a homosexual come from the parlor, or a homosexual from the parlor passes in front of a group of freshmen nearby. So dumaan daw yung homosexual sa isang grupo ng mga freshmen. And one among the group, itong isa sa mga grupo na nakaupo na dinaanan ng homo, sumigaw siya, homosexuality is wrong, sabi niya. Or pwede niya din sabihin na homosexuality is sinfulness. Or pwede niya sabihin homosexuality is abnormal. Pwede niyang sigaw yun. So if he said this because he had been abused and molested by a homosexual when he was a child, then he is biased. Biased siya. Bakit? He only made that because of his feelings of anger. Ibig sabihin, galit lang kasi siya, kaya nasabi niya yun. Bakit siya nagagalit? Kasi when he was still a child, he was abused or he was molested. So, yun nga, kung galit siya, naapektuhan yung sinasabi niya at naapektuhan yung kanyang mga actions. So, kung hindi naman siya galit, hindi niya naman sasabihin yon. Kung hindi naman siya galit, hindi niya rin naman gagawin yon. So, because of the galit of that one person in the group, so nagawa niya yung pagsigaw ng homosexuality is wrong. Or whatever attack against homosexuality. Actually, class, this is a very big debate. So, in our society right now, yung mga homosexuals, sinasabi nila, we are not yet accepted. But, class, aalalahanin natin, may mga kaibigan din tayo mga homosexuals. And hindi mawawala yan sa isang klase. May homosexual, and dapat ipakita natin sa kanila yung equality. Dapat ipakita natin sa kanila yung equity. Sapagkat pare-parehas tayong tao. Not because you are a homosexual, then you are already a sinful person. Minsan nga, not because you are a homosexual, ibig sabihin, ikaw ay mahina. Tuwang-tuwa ako dun sa kanta ni Glock 9, yung Serena. Sabi niya dun sa bandang last part, kung minsan, napakaganda. Sabi niya, kung minsan mas lalaki pa sa lalaki ang bakla. So, napakagandang mensahe because in our time right now, dapat tanggapin natin na there is already gender equality, gender equity. Pantay-pantay na ang mga lalaki, babae, bakla ka man o tomboy ka man, pare-pares tayong tao. Now, to continue with our discussion, kasi medyo nalihis tayo. Okay, so emotivism. So, what is now this emotivism? Ano naman yung ibig sabihin ng emotivism? Ang emotivism, it is a naive version of ethical subjectivism. So this version says that a moral belief is true if it is held with sincerity and conviction. Or to say that an act is right or a person is good is merely to emote, just to express your emotions. So medyo hawig siya dun sa ethical subjectivism. Kaya lang it is a naive version ng ethical subjectivism. So, itong emotivists kasi, they claim that statements about good or evil are just expressing a subject's approval or disapproval of a particular thing. So, meaning to say, pag maaaring mag-agree ka o hindi ka mag-agree sa isang bagay. So, to give you an example, okay, tinatawag din pala siyang the Bouyer theory of ethics. Because emotivism has earned this nickname, itong Bouyer theory of ethics. Ano nga ba itong Bouyer theory of ethics? So, boo kapag you disagree, yay kapag nag-agree ka. Di ba? Yay, boo, boo, sabihin mo. So, for example, the war on drugs. The Philippine government or the Duterte administration, ito meron talagang war on drugs. And people may agree with the war on drugs and some do not agree. Sabihin mo yung mga DDS o yung mga dilawan, nag-aaway yan. We are contrasting. Okay? We differ from our opinions. So, syempre, ngayon, yung mga sumusuporta sa war on drugs, they will say, approve namin ito. Tama lang yan. Patayin nyo yung mga salot sa lipunan. So, yay ang war on drugs. Pero yung mga disagree naman sa war on drugs, they show their disapproval about the war on drugs. At sasabihin naman nila, no, boo ang war on drugs. Bakit? Kasi maraming nadadamay na tao. Mga inosenteng tao nadadamay. Hindi lahat ng mga napapatay dyan sa war on drugs na yan, talagang they are involved in drugs. Some of them are just part of the collateral damage ng ating gobyerno dito sa war on drugs. So, itong sa emotivism, it depends on the subject's approval or disapproval of a particular thing. Maganda ba ang war on drugs? The supporters of war on drugs, sasabihin nila maganda. Yung mga disagree sa war on drugs, sasabihin nila hindi maganda ang war on drugs. So, emotivists. Okay? Emotivism. Yan yung principle dyan sa ethics na tinutukoy natin. Now, to continue, itong feelings kasi, feelings cannot solely relied upon by reason and feelings may complement each other. O feelings cannot be solely relied upon. Yan. Pero, kailangan yung feelings natin ginaguide ng ating reason. Traditionally, ethical decision-making process has been understood as an exclusively mental process that our feelings have nothing to do with matters of right or wrong and good and bad. Kasi nga, unstable ang ating emotions. Kasi nga, hindi reliable ang ating feelings. Kaya kailangan natin ng reason para kontrolin natin yung ating emotions. However, kaya tungkol nyo, although most existing researchers emphasize the mental elements of decision-making, there are pieces of evidence to support the idea that emotion is also a necessary component leading to ethical decisions and ethical behavior. So the arousal of emotion influences moral reflection and ultimately ang ating moral behavior. Okay, magbigay tayo ng mga example. Itong inner-directed negative emotions, katulad na lang ng guilt, embarrassment, and shame often motivate people to act ethically. Kasi kapag ikaw ay napahiya, ikaw ay na-embarrass, ikaw ay nagigilty, o di ba? Ikaw nahihiya. Sometimes your actions are guided by your guilt, by your embarrassment, by your shame. Kasi hindi ko nagagawin yun kasi nakakahiya. Hindi ko gagawin isang bagay na yan kasi nakaka-guilty. So, inner-directed negative emotions ang tawag dyan. Paano naman itong outer-directed negative emotions? Sa outer-directed negative emotions, it aims to discipline or punish. Okay? Example, people often direct anger, disgust, or contempt at those who have acted unethically. Siyempre, may pasaway. Pinagalitan. O yung tao na yon, sorry ha, yung tao na yon na pagalitan, so mag-a-act na siya ethically o morally o magiging mas mabait na siya. It has something to do with the rewards and punishment, di ba? Kapag ikaw na-punish ka, saglit lang, magkape lang ako. Okay, pag ikaw na-punished ka, okay, na-punish ka, naparusahan ka, mag-a-act ka ethically. Kasi ayaw mo nang masubukan uling maparusahan. Pag ikaw napagalitan ka, for example, sa klase, nasigawan ka ng professor, you go home, you plant kamote, sasabihin sa'yo. The next time na papasok ka sa classroom na yun, gagalingan mo na. Iwasan mo nang mapahiya ka. Tama? Because of this outer directed negative emotions na ibinigay sa'yo ng isang tao na nakaramdam nito. So, meron siyang naramdamang anger, naramdaman niya yung disgust, and yung contempt. So, yan yun. So, inner-directed and outer-directed negative emotions. Now, positive emotions naman, like gratitude and admiration, which people may feel when they see someone acting with compassion or kindness, can prompt people to help others too. So, kung ikaw ay tumutulong, syempre, mas masaya yung nakakatulong sa ibang tao. Tama, di ba? So, yung maa-admire ka ng ibang tao. Or, yung tao na natulungan mo, makaka-feel siya ng gratitude towards you. And, because of that, gagawin niya din. So, ganun din ang gagawin niya. Tutulong din siya. Bakit? Ang sarap palang tumulong. Diba? Okay? So, ako, may tinulungan ako isang tao. Yung tao na yun nakaramdam ng admiration, nakaramdam ng gratitude. Sa susunod, siya naman yung gagawa, siya naman yung tutulong. Bakit? Because, gusto niya naman, siya yung ma-admire. Sa susunod, gusto niya naman, siya din yung tao na kung saan mabibigyan ng gratitude. But, iba yung tumutulong ka kasi magandang tumulong, iba naman yung tumutulong ka kasi gusto mo lang ma-admire at mabigyan ng gratitude. Magkaiba yun. So, it depends on your purpose. Okay, but what I'm telling is that itong positive emotions na to, nakakabutis din siya. Kasi, it can prompt people to help others too. And, yung emotions evoked by suffering, such as sympathy and empathy, often lead people to act ethically towards others. Sympathy, empathy. Nakisimpatya ka na kaya empathy. Nakisimpatya ka kasi naawa ka dun sa isang tao. Ganito pala yung buhay niya. So, nakikisimpatya ako sa kanya. So, anong pagkakaiba sa empathy? Pag sa empathy naman kasi, so, gusto mo nung kumbaga, yung naranasan ng isang tao, yung parang dadanasin mo din. Dadanasin mo na the same, pero naramdaman mo at parang naranasan mo mismo sa sarili mo yung ganun. So, that is empathy. Iba yung simpatya na, naawa ka lang sa isang tao. Iba yung naramdaman mo, kumbaga, you put your feet inside the shoes of that person. So, that's empathy. Okay, class? So, the last slide. This is the last slide already na i-represent ko sa inyo. So, while we may believe that our moral decisions are influenced most by our philosophy or religious values, in truth, our emotions play a significant role in our ethical decision making. So, class, always remember that not because you are full of emotions, masama ka na. No. Lagi natin tatandaan, feeling the emotions is normal. Pero expressing our emotions, dapat pag-isipan muna natin. Kasi may mga nagagawa tayo mga bagay-bagay o may nasasabi tayo mga bagay-bagay which we should have not told or which we should have not done kung hindi tayo full of emotions or kung we allow our reason to guide our emotions. So, in this topic, lagi natin tatandaan na yung emotion natin, importante din siya importante siya in order for us to live an ethical life. But our emotions should be guided by our reason because our reason is ever supreme. And tandaan natin, as human beings, dapat lagi nating gagamitin ang ating rational ability in order for us to show na tayo ay tao. Iba tayo sa mga hayop. Yung mga hayop, pag nagalit, mag-aaway na lang yan. Tao, hindi ganun. So, I hope that you are able to learn something on this topic, class. And if there are some questions about this topic, just feel free to direct message me or i-send natin sa GC para masasagot ko pa. And I hope, class, that you study well and mag-ingat kayo kasi sa panahon ngayon, yung COVID andyan pa rin and kakatapos ng bagyo. I hope, class, that you are all safe and sound. So till next time, to our magkita-kita na naman tayo sa next topic natin sa ethics. God bless, guys. Keep safe, everyone.